Well, hello. Welcome to our little shop. Today we happen to have another 63 Gibson in here. This one is a B25 and it's suffering the same problems a lot of the 63 models have. We have the exploding bridge. Customer brought it in saying that the bridge was coming loose, but they didn't realize that the bridge is actually molded plastic. So the typical protocol for this, as usual, is to take the bolt-on bridge off, take all the hardware out from underneath the top, plug all the holes, replace the bridge plate, replace the bridge with a wooden bridge with a non-adjustable saddle, and put it back in service. So there you go. That's the gist of it. We will run into other things later, like the action. It's a wee bit high. I'm hoping a lot of that is just from top deflection. The bridge plates and these are plywood, and they're riddled with holes for hardware and all that. It's not very stable anyway, so I expect the top to flatten out a lot on this. So okay, let's start taking this apart. Here we have the bridge off, and since the bridge height or the saddle height inserts are being a little more stubborn than usual on this, I'm using a nylon washer that fits right around the outside of it to keep any chipping down, a support washer on top of it, and another washer with one of the height adjustments through it to use to pull it out. This one come out really clean. Let's see what happens with the other one. Alright, everything's out. And I've said it before, but since a lot of people don't follow all the videos and only hit and miss, I want to point out this is all the hardware involved in that bridge. You've got these threaded brass inserts, a lock nut for them, a big old heavy nut, and the various sheet metal screws and washers here to hold the plastic bridge on. That's an awful lot of weight to have underneath a guitar top. Probably the plastic bridge and all this is probably one of Gibson's worst ideas. Before the Norland years. Before the late 90s ideas. We won't even talk about 2015. Anyway, there you go. And just to show you, here's the plastic molded bridge underneath. You can see where it's starting to fall apart and collapse. This one's in better shape than a lot of them I've seen, but it's beginning to fail. So there it goes. Well, we have the bridge plate out. At least it wasn't one of the really big ones like we used in the LG1s and so on, LGOs. Anyway, so I've got this plate out. It's taken us about 45 minutes to get this far. So I'm going to fabricate a new bridge plate for it. Plug these holes. You see, stuff like this needs to be taken care of. I might have to actually have to plug these two again for the string bridge pins here. Definitely have to do this one, this one, this one, this one, and then make plugs for these two. Alright, let's keep moving. And there we have the plugs put in. We'll have to level those out later when we clean the finish off the bridge pad here to glue the new bridge on. Well, last evening we plugged all these holes for the bridge. I went to the home shop and made a new bridge plate of 1/8 inch thick maple. You see I've got a couple locating pins here to help line it up that won't interfere with the clamping call for the top. We'll be using a lot of clamps. Got all my assorted bridge clamps laid out here ready to go. So let's get some glue on this, get it in, get it clamped. I'll catch you up in a minute. Well, there we go, all clamped up. Now this will have to set till tomorrow. Like I said, we replaced the warped plywood bridge plate with a maple one. So we'll see how this turns out tomorrow. So I come in this morning, took the clamps off this, popped my locator pins out of it, which come out quite easily. That flattened the top out a lot. That's what we were hoping for. Now, next move is to fabricate the bridge for it, get it ready to fit, get it glued on. I'm not going to show you how I make the bridges because, well, it's long and boring. There's actually a video on this channel about building bridges that has had very few views, so nobody's really interested. So we're going to pass on that. But I'll be back when I've got the bridge finished. However, I will show you that I'm ready to get started here, and when you see this again, it will be a bridge. Well, this is a disappointing development. When I was getting ready to line up the bridge here, I found out that the original bridge was slightly off center. I didn't notice that when I first took the guitar in to work on it. Of course, everything was all twisted and warped and stuff anyway, so I really couldn't tell a whole lot. But regardless of whatever the reason is, whether the jig was off and they drilled this, or the neck was off a couple of degrees or whatever to the side, the strings do not line up the bridge properly. So we're going to have to move it over slightly. But the big thing here is I'm going to have to plug these holes again, because I've already drilled through the bridge plate. So I have to plug those, plus these that I wasn't planning on plugging because I should have been able to drill right down through them with the new bridge and be in the same place. However, that's not going to be the case. We're going to have to move over very slightly, just enough to make it difficult. So I'm going to make plugs for this and get them in. Never a dull moment. Okay. Well, we've come in this morning, taken the clamps off this. The plugs are all in. I've also rough cut this at the shop at home. So we're ready to turn this into a bridge. It's Monday morning. We've let this set over the weekend in clamps. So we're ready to unclamp this and see what we've got underneath. When I'm shaping this bridge here Thursday, it came out really well and fit the top really well. Once the top's been flattened out, it's very easy to get a good fit here. I had to curve the bridge just a little bit, but I got a very good fit. In fact, it fits so well, I scrimped on one clamp. I usually use 5. This fit really well. We get this unclamped and see what it looks like. Well, we have it unclamped. I've actually finished drilling the bridge pin holes out, chamfered the top of them slightly. If you can see that or not. Cleaned it all up, fitted the bridge pins. So we are now ready to make a saddle. I told you it would turn out to be a bridge. Let me get you caught up here Like I say earlier, we cleaned up the bridge and fitted the bridge pins. I've made a bone saddle for it. I've corrected a couple little minor fret problems we had. Adjusted the neck. Cut the nut to the proper height. I'm going to clean up the frets here. Actually, at this point, I'm going to tear the whole guitar back down and do some major cleaning. Get some finish on this bridge. But what really bugs me is this. So I have about 3 ways of dealing with that. So we'll see which way works for us this time. So anyway, here we go. All torn back down again. I've cleaned up the frets, leveled this replaced inlay, taken the tuners and everything off. I'm ready to start cleaning. So the plan here is to clean up the top first, so I can start getting some finish on this bridge while cleaning up the rest of the guitar. So, time to get out the polishing compound. We have the top cleaned up. You can see it's quite a bit shinier. A lot of funk come off there. And we taped off back here and finished sanding the bridge, and we've got 1 coat of oil finish on it so far. So we're going to try to get 2 coats on this before I leave tonight. So we will move up here and continue our cleaning. Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. Got some serious funk removal going on here. We've got this B25 all cleaned up. It's a bit shiny all over. Looks like there's been something spilled on it alcohol wise here, but actually this thing cleaned up really well. See, it's a lot of gloss. We've got a couple coats of oil finish on our bridge so it can set overnight. So we're moving our attention up to here. We're all ready for our tuners, but we still have this one. So the first thing we're going to do is pull the button off of it. So we're going to heat it up with the soldering iron and pull that button and see if we can straighten the shaft. There we go. Pulled that one off. Well, and there we go. 63 B25N. We have a new bridge, a new bridge saddle, new bridge pins, new bridge plate, new inlay, straightened tuning machine, cleaned up, set up, all good. Quick fret dress. All in all, quite a bit of a job. I haven't totaled up the time here, but I'm sure there's well over 6 hours in this. So, no, this is not deja vu all over again. This is actually a 1964 J50 that when the customer came in to pick up the B25, he brought this one along too. He said, well, before he even saw the B25, he said, since you did such a good job on it, I've got another one that's worse. So, just heads up, I thought it'd be very nice just to include this as a 2-parter. So, look forward to the J50. So, there you go. Another 63 Gibson put back into service. So, till next time, play nice. I'll see you later.